darlings, but as it all fades away, our heart comes out to play. We find ourselves just like you would in a moment of impending death. You see it coming, you know it's there. You get a strange peace about your life. You start to remember all the sweet moments you've lived, all the accomplishments your heart's managed to sneak in on you and keep you going strong and singing that heart song despite tremendous difficulty and real abject reality and a real obscure life, etc. You know, I mean, just like you weren't even seen, you weren't even visible here. You lived back in the mountains all your life, for example, you know. But you got through some major, major trauma, man. And you got done with the drama and you started to find the heart. And because you were coming around, babies, when you got that moment of peace, when you finally saw that as you're dying, guess what? You take off flying. See, we're going through a real similar process now. We've really been hidden out in the woods for a while, man. All of us, the whole human race and Mother Earth too. We chose off into some obscure little place where we could act out all this crap and get it over with, you know. It was a long story, babies, wasn't it? Yeah, I went through many, what, a million generations? I'll bet it was. A billion years, million generations? Yeah, probably a lot more than that. Whatever the real history is, see, it's coming out as you come out. As you begin to understand your own life, as you get this moment of peace, as you see it settling in the world around you, man, because they're simultaneous. That's how synchronized we are with our own creation. Coyote medicine through and through. Every day, but especially on a Free Day Friday, here in the Coyote Medicine Show. Only on Hazy Radio Network. So it may seem to some like this old earth is dying, you know, but really, we're that place just before death where you come back to life and you realize what you've been living. See, we're in that place as a cosmic family, as a unified earth. And when I say unified, I mean with earth and sky, all of it, inside out and right side up and upside down too, babies. However we live it, it's all inside each of us, and everyone is it too. Everyone. We're all the one. See, we can't wait for anyone because we're all the one. And as we realize that, as we see our place at the center of the creation we live in other words, you know, then you'll start to see more of the collective flow. And it won't seem so personal, so lonely, such a difficult path anymore. Yeah, you'll be walking on clouds, you know, you'll be drifting on fresh air all the time. And you won't have a care on earth. See, you got to understand the nature of this existence here and what it's been to us. From the level of the heart, you see. It's been an existence in the school of love. By an abject reality that seemed to have very damn little of it. And look how hard we work to scrape a little up here and there in these abject lives we've been living, man. It's just darn amazing what's happened here despite, you know, the flow that went against love so severely that most beings just get swept up in it. Yet every being, and I guarantee this in your life somewhere, has had that moment of release where you really started to understand and be understood by your pain and why you chose to live such a terrible life, man. You know, every time you turn around, something's biting you on the fanny, or even worse places, you know. Wow, sometimes kicking you in the crotch, man. I mean, you know, down you go, man. Not many can survive that. Yet we do. And how do we do that? Well, it's, in my humble opinion, as I see it and as I live it, the mother love that gets us through it all. No matter what it's been or where it's been. It is what it is right now. Babies, and you know, many of us had to become argumentative with this life around us. We were such idealists as little baby kids, and we just couldn't put that dream away. We saw it a different way than what we were living and what folks around us were living it, you know. So we had to develop techniques by which to survive the pressures on us, which says, conform, you little bugger. You know, I said, no, I can't. Thank you very much. I won't. You know, No way, no how. Here, take this dirty diaper and wash it out for me. It started that early, babies. It really did, you know. And we learned to resist in sometimes kind of a negative way, temper tantrums, you know, and they kept repeating themselves throughout your life. But it's just like it is in a baby child, it's a cry for relief from the misery. It's a cry for release from the pain. It's a cry that is heard in every heart across this universe. And that's why such prayers are answered. In the rage, then, is the prayer for release. And that's where you're letting go. See how much peace you can get about it as you approach these moments of death? This is life. This is transition. This is truth. You won't be afraid of anything anymore. There's no need for fear any longer. What's to be afraid of? Live it, love it, let it progress. I mean, anything else, you just digress and make it a little more difficult for yourself and others too. But at the same time, maybe you're smoothing out the path by going up there and jumping up and down on them bumps and screaming at them a little bit, you know. You see, we're all working out that childhood rage that went off the page, and there's not a soul here present that escaped it. Well, there might be one or two somewhere in the billions of us, but damn few, let me tell you. Shoot. And most folks are just stuck with it, especially in these days and ages when souls of a more ancient presence that's been ripened by the process of time through living many lives, you know, comes back now to receive the end of the difficulty, the graduation diploma from the school of life, babies. The school of unlove. The school of polarities, of opposites, of an upside-down world which only opposites can live in, because in the right-side-up world, it's constant expansion. It has its own magnetism, yes, but it's an expansive thing. It's not something that draws in like a magnet does. It draws in all of the energies of the universe, of course, all the colors of the rainbow, and expresses them in that exuberant, outflowing way as life. See yourself as the center of a great big old donut, man, only it just totally surrounds you, man. That's why I like that song, Like a Hurricane, besides all the good time guitar in it, etc. Neil Young, incredible genius, ain't he? But that's why I like that, because, you know, Good Time Charlie can't have the blues when you're realizing your true place at the center of that existence and starting to see how the energy flows. See, it only comes by allowance. You can't do it any other way. You can't believe it. Though, you might for a bit until you see it. But when you see it, then you be it. When that feeling's grounded through your root chakra right on down into the earth, and through your crown chakra right on into the rest of creation, well, babies, then you start to really understand your position here as a juncture of life, and you're here to get it clear for everyone else, dear. Yeah, you're an exemplary being, and you have been in every life you've lived, whether it was an obscure little life out in the backwoods of the mountains, or, you know, standing there on the side of the hill saying, hey, everybody, look at me, I got something for you, don't you see, and getting yourself tormented because of it. See, there's all kinds of ways we apply our energies. Maybe you just came to experience one moment of recognition, connection, share a little love in a 30-second moment, and it's gone. But that's your whole life. And all the experience around it just makes it richer, you see. That's the view we get as the old fades away, see. It is very similar to death. It's death processing us back into life. So we go through, in a world here, we go through the same process that we would if we were dying. In a real and conscious sort of way. Checking out from the body, in other words, like we used to do, you know. Only this is the entire earth doing it. And really what we're doing is giving up our obscurity, our unrectified place of schooling, and coming back to the center of our true reality, back to the central love of the heart, that place I speak of at the center of creation, from which the 7 points of life arise, including yourself. You're at the center of it. You make the 7th and the 1st. It's always like that. Around that grows then the radiance of our exuberant creation. See, we see ourselves then as the center and as the expanding creation and all the experience in it too. Only through some real divine seasoning could we come to occupy such a place. You know, we really had to challenge our souls and our hearts to the extreme in order to gravitate back to such a central place of being. And to be able to hold that center forever now, because we know what happens when you don't. See, in other words, we won't be begatting any more aberrant creation here in our universal life or any other life that's created from that. We'll start to live it more in that way. You start to see it as you're passing on. And you start to see your life and you start to get peace about it. You say, oh my God, I didn't know. I was just a player. I thought I was so low. Oh, thank you, little angels, for this beautiful show. See, it's them same angels, the angels of death, that are bringing us back to life. Those that share that vision with you as you're dying. Now, not everybody gets this, but not everybody will accept it in the past. You know, that's where, aberrant spirits come from. You know, some people are just not ready to check out of the school even when that lifetime's over and it's time to go find some new service here. Some folks just ain't ready. They don't want to let go of that. You know, the evil darkness could be pretty, enthralling to some people. They just can't let it go, so they stick around and, they don't go home. They don't get peace about their life. They're not ready. They just say, poo on that. And they hang around as ghosts and goblins and spirits and demons or whatever you want to call them, They're influenced by outside forces, of course, but it's still just us. The whole thing, the whole dynamic of, darkness and light, polarity, positive, negative, good and evil, all of that shit, created of an illusionary heart, divided amongst itself, completely separated, isolated, and living only a glimmer of what it really is. Yet as you see this now, you see the full presence in all of it. The glimmer, the shadow, that was just blindness that we heaped on ourselves so we wouldn't, get it too quick. Like I said, we needed the seasoning, the fires of hell, the agonies of torment, the shithole, the deepest shithole you could ever dig, man. And everybody's crap flying your way, man. We needed that experience for a while, I'm sorry to say. But when you see it that way, then you got the value in it. And you just rise up out of it. You're not touched by any of it. You're enhanced by all of it. And you can go on now to be a more ascended soul. And prepare for a whole new life. It's a beginning. Death is never the end. It's a reconstruction. It's a putting back together of yourself. The same way birth is, but just in a different way, you see. Life goes on. It is. It just is. In our personal form, of course. Created of the universe can't help but go on. It's honored to do so. It's as happy as a clam that it got through all this rote education and can now be living in the flow. Because it knows where the rote go, and it goes to hell, don't you know? Not paradise. Paradise is peace inside. Peace with all of our creation around us. And what is that peace born of? A deep, contented satisfaction with all that is. That's the moment you get as you're dying. You start to see it. And then you be it, see? Well, now you allow that as this earth expires from her unparadigm into her true paradigm, we accept our place in the sublime. We see with contented, orgasmic feelings what's really been going on here. And we're at peace with it all. No need for forgiving or going on or anything else, just being. It's all done just right. But now that school's out, we can take flight. We can go ahead and be the artiste of creation and be the living art of that creation. It's so deeply appreciated. It can only bring forth more contentment, constant expansion. The divine feminine in this female form here in this human life has been taught to think of itself as the softer side that's weak and needs the strength of the male presence in order to make itself, complete. That's the illusion we've lived under. That's what the feminine aspect gets in a lot of cases anyway, you see. But when you begin to see your true power in that softness, in that forgiving nature that doesn't even see harm in this reality at all, sees right by it, man, goes on with the experience as it's given, just like an actor in a play, and you just keep reading that script from your heart and saying your lines and doing your things and feeling the feelings of it too, as if it's a real thing. But the cameras aren't rolling. The director said cut quite some time ago. That's a print. We're done with that one. Let's get on with this one, eh? Cast partied out at my mansion down there by the bay. Let's be getting over there, wouldn't you say? Don't anybody be pooping out on me now. I know it's been a rough journey, but here, I got some happy pills for you, okay? Hollywood everywhere. Damn, how do we get rid of that, man? We don't. We're always going to be the showpieces of the universe, and we may as well just get used to it. May as well just grow into it, accept our diplomas with a happy little smile on our face, and just get the fuck on with it. And be what we are. Let the living truth be our reality and quit resisting it. Because there is no resisting it. The resistance is over. It ain't a life, anti-life anymore. You don't got to be killing in order to be willing to be living, to defend yourself in any way. The agonies become our ecstasy. We saw through the misery of it and saw the service we gave in every moment that we lived, each and every day, all the way through it, every life. Because they start to come together too in these moments of dying. You start to see the other lives. You start to remember those too. And it's kind of like, the bigger picture assembles itself from a whole lot of tiny pieces. And then you see the masterpiece you've created and living through all these generations. And by golly, it makes you happy to be alive. Or dying, as the case may be, because dying is alive too. More alive than we've ever been before. So just allow this death to sneak through and don't be dying in it. Be getting high in it. Be accepting the vision, the gift of it. The reality, the truthful aspects of your life and how you're really living them. And what you're really giving them. And it ain't hell, babies. Though we've sure done a lot of that. Paradise, man. You can't roll them twice without coming up naturals, man. Naturals, 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 everywhere. We all one. We all rise up with this morning sun and purify our view of our true life now. Because we finally came to that moment. We finally allowed it. We quit running from it. There's nothing to fear in this kind of death, dear. It's transitional love in motion, baby. And it brings us to the conscious presence where the dead and dying are. And therefore we reunify life in a solidified organic presence. That's the root of it. Where feelings can really be felt. And passions can be employed in a gritty, ecstatic sort of way. Without the root, there is no plant, there is no tree alive. Babies, let yourself take off and fly. Come along with this guy to Spaceship Love. Ooh, rising up in the atmosphere where it's very, very clear, baby. Party's on with the angels, don't you know? It's time to get on with the rhythm and harmony of your own rock and roll. You don't want to be left out of this party, don't you know? It's the greatest graduation party there could ever be. And it starts in the sky and it spreads throughout the reality. So when you feel the call of your family saying, come be on this Spaceship Love, babies, rise up, be above, be in there, be, rocking there with your family And you won't believe what takes you there, and I wouldn't expect you to, baby. All I can say is don't feel sad, don't feel blue. The call is coming through. It's the ancestors, man, and it's the heartbeat of humanity, too. It's the breath we take, it's everything we think, do, and say. It's all at play. You know, it's giving it up in that old way. Letting go that says you gotta pay. And letting loose of yourself, of your own sweetheart. Realizing in your softer places is your greater graces, and that is the power and magic of creation moving through you in a very natural sort of way. Far more natural than the sunrise and the earth and the skies. Far more natural than this it be. And as we live in that reality, well, we reformate the reality around us too, don't you see? We come back into our truth. The living lovers, the dreamers of creation. Always united. Never divided. But free to experience personally all that we will as the gathered heart of humanity and the universe beyond her too. Now I gave you a pregnant pause there so I could have a little toke here. You know, got to have the sacred smoke as worshipful prayer goes out each and every day in that coyote sort of way. Transformation. In the smoke we are reminded of the conversion of life, of our true ethereal nature. Else how could flame create such a thing, and why would we take it into our person? It's pleasurable. It grounds you in the ethereal reality of truth, letting you feel that organically. So you can unwind now from the old wisdom that says, no, I can't, and says, yes, I am. Because that's what we're living in, and it's real. And it's all what you feel here on a Free Day Friday, eh? Aren't you glad you tuned in today? I certainly am, man. Without your heart here, it wouldn't be coming clear, baby. So I appreciate each one of you very dear, man, because we're all in that right, the same person. And it's difficult when you really start to get that, to be judgmental of anyone or anything. It really is, because you see your own presence there and you understand the flow of that. You know where love takes you. You know where you've been willing to go because you've done that. See? Been there, done that, and then some. And the beautiful thing is it don't have to flow that way no more. It's over with the moment you let it. The moment you feel the call inside, which is rooted down. Ooh, yeah, root chakra and then some, into the ground, into the sky above, and into everything expanding in this radiant love. The blossoming flower, and this is how it blossoms. It expands feeling-wise and seeing-wise into creation. All of it. Every bit of it. And see, that undoes everything anyone's ever done against anyone else. It undoes it all. That's a moment of peaceful triumph. Even more blessed than the moment of death and the life coming back to itself as a baby. Even more precious than that. And more perfect, too. Because it's the reality we live in, baby. It's the reality we were given to find as the time did unwind. We tasted the hell to find the paradise. We allowed it, babies, and we created all of it as a collective whole. And even the shady and sham things you see going on in this world right now, created of our own heart. See, and we're given the challenge in that to rise above it and be the love inside of all of that, so that it can let go of its religious fervor in its trauma and come back to life and just be all right with the life around it and not have to rule over anything more than a butterfly flying by. And you don't rule over that, you participate with it. You say, wow, a butterfly, man. How about that? Love in motion. And that's a grand reminder of our true beauty, man. And of our humility, too, and our fragility. We can't live outside of the heart. It kills us every time, doesn't it? But living in the heart, well, babies, then there's no need for, births and then dying no more. We got our birth right there, B-E-R-T-H, place of the heart, and its natural residency. More comfortable than a king-size waterbed and almost as much fun. But I'm laying there one night, my old lady, this is a long time ago, man. Shit, this must have been the early 80s, of 83 or so, And then all of a sudden we really did get hit with a wave in the middle of the night, like 3 o'clock in the morning, man. And I'm like, oh, shit, and she wakes up and she's all panicked. What's that? And I said, oh, honey, just relax. It's an earthquake. I knew we'd get through it. I knew it was only a 6.2 or so, and I knew it wasn't going to hurt nothing, not least of all us. And, I just rolled over on it, man, and let it rumble on through. It was a wavy one, too. If you'd have been outside, that would have been weird, because you see the ground turn into liquid waves, I've been through that, too. There's not much that we've missed in this reality in the way of challenge, so I could see past my own fatality, my own fears, and grow stronger in the life that I was living by appreciate what I've been given here. No matter how humble it might be in circumstances, it's beautiful. And I love every minute that I live, and I bless every moment that I spend with you. Here on the radio, spinning and grinning, man, and helping each other through, man. That's what we're here to do. Conscious presence begets conscious presence, which begets, it's a nuclear explosion. Nuclear, baby. Yeah, it's not the destructive one. It's the one that makes life a lot of fun. Because then we start to see that there really is a party on at our place, and we just rise up there and go party with our angelic friends, man. Family from beginning to end. Always been with us, always seeing us through. Always. Always, too. And your magic in your own life proves that to you if you just sit there and contemplate for a moment, for heck's sakes. Quit your cussing and stop your fussing and get on with it, man. Shit. Liberate yourself to be free, man. It's frickin' Friday, for heck's sakes. That means liberation of the heart. That means you don't place restrictions in that place anymore. You can't. You've seen past the need for them. There's no fear anymore. You see it clear. You feel it, dear. And it's rooted in your reality, isn't it? Yeah, see, once you realize that, then you expand and grow from there. And that's when the blossom gets on and starts to surround and fill the atmosphere. You get into everything, man. Jeezo. Weezo. The contented orgasm. The painter with the brush in his hand and being the paint and being the painting and being the brush and the painter and the conscious presence and the angels beyond that influence everything, blah, blah, blah. One. Beautiful. God, in each person created such a divine part in the tapestry of love that when they're united, when we see the whole picture of our collective way, each little personal path rises up and assembles like pieces in a puzzle. And then we see the bigger picture at play, see? That's what we're going through today, a moment of truth. Of seeing the real way. Most people have to die to get here. We don't have to. We fly. We get high. We understand inside this soft, sweet little hive. Yeah, and even see beyond the illusion of that, too. Because it's radiant love, babies. This little housing of ours is housed inside of a bigger housing. Inside of a bigger housing than that, too. It just goes through many levels and dimensions. It's conscious now. The baby is awakened and found its life again. It knows its true presence within. And because it's within, then it's within all that is. Expanded beyond us. There's nothing expanded beyond us. We're in all of it. The baby has new eyes. It sees clearly now. And lives. And life is no surprise. It's just simply delightful. Loving. A reality beyond our comprehension or belief before. Yet we knew it to be. We just couldn't see it for the longest time. Blind as a bat in a belfry, man, and running into each other because the sonar don't work. I love the metaphorical reality of Coyote, don't you? You see, that's how we be. We rise now. We awaken. Mama says, wake up. So what do? Wake the frick up, man, you know. Get with the truckin' reality, man. Shift into high gear. Mash the gas. Rotor, man. Pedal to the metal. You're taking off now. Pull back on the wheel and you'd be surprised, man. That's the deal. There goes 18 wheels flying through the sky, man, and through the dimensions, too. And your truck turns into a busload of love, and you deliver it everywhere you go, and man alive, people just want to party, because you made them love you so. By sharing the love that you hauled that heavy load. You lightened it up, didn't it, some? Yeah, when you pull back on the wheel, that's the deal. That's when you had the trust, the faith of knowing. Just like I did in the earthquake there, only innocently. So I wasn't anything I designed. It just happened. You know, one of those things. I reckon it's a little test of character in a way, but I just knew everything would be okay. By then, I got to tell you why. There was some basis to it. I wasn't just being stupid. Because I've been through earthquakes before, been devastating ones and otherwise, you know, and so maybe I lost count of them, but there were several of them in my life, you know. I traveled, and there was, of course, the West is kind of earthquake prone too, so it's just, you know, the combination thereof. It just added to a lot of experience laying there in that old water bed. God, I loved it, man. Going out of my head? No, I was back in my heart. I was okay. I knew everything was fine. The house creaked and groaned a little bit. The foundation cracked in a couple, 3 places. The dishes didn't even fall out of the cupboard, man. I mean, and this was, like I said, a wavy one, probably 3-foot waves in the ground. But, you know, the old house was a wooden house on a concrete basement thing, you know, and it just kind of moved with it. It had to crack the concrete a little bit because that's a little too hard. But, you know, if I would have influenced my, you know, if I would have been a little more conscious then, shoot, nothing would have cracked at all. I mean, we would have been just fine. I just would have made the house a fluid part of the motion. We wouldn't even heard creaking and groaning or the timbers or nothing. It would have been just whoosh, a wave of love passing through. That's the transformative energy and a demonstration of it. See how our imagination knows which way it goes, but you got to be raised up into that place where you see the fluid nature of it, the flexible nature of it, and therefore in that the united nature of it. Because it's all a fluid flow, and like a river, it flows together. It's got its swirls and eddies, it's got its rapids, etc. Currents going every which way, yet the flow always goes the way the river goes. See, that's living in creation when you understand that beautiful metaphor, which is a reality. You live it. It's a river of energy, loving energy, ever-present energy that only wants to happily expand and grow. That's the child within each of us, don't you know? Simply put, because it's Free Day Friday, and we got to keep it as simple as we can, man. So you feel it and just get on with it. That's the deal. And that's what you feel. And babies, if you do, then it's real. It's not beyond your incredible capabilities to be as flexible as what you see. Understanding then the fluid way of life, the flow of energy, harmony, rhythm, driven by the tribal beat, which gets our angelic feet in motion now, doesn't it? See how that works, baby? See how clear you can be on a Free Day Friday here on the Coyote Medicine Show with Grandpa Coyote and a whole host of family here, man. We're united with all of them. A greater collective than you could ever see before. We think the same thought because we feel now the same feeling. As we expand into the presence of creation around us, we feel. It all feels with us, too. That's why we came here. That's what we did. Because in feeling, creation can expand forever and happily so. And there won't be any loneliness anymore. None of that aspect will ever exist again. Joined together in the cosmic cause of the spiritual heart. United in flight. Partying down with angels, that's right. Each and every day, Monday through Friday, here on the Coyote Medicine Show. But especially on Free Day Friday, don't you know? You got it clear here, dear, on the Hazy Radio Network. Darling, your ticket to flight just got hotter than a banana basket sitting out in the sun, man, and steaming away and turning dark today. All that old crap rotting away and the real truth be seen rising out of that.